The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show. Four Nations Face-Off post-game edition. Coming at you after Team Canada secured its place in the final on Thursday against the Americans with a 5-3 victory over Team Finland. That game got unnecessarily scary in the last minute and a half, Ryan.
Yeah, I just can't fathom in my head why, no matter what hockey team I'm cheering for, they just all play the same way. No matter who's on the roster, what system they're trying to play, what coach they have behind the bench, that team looks a lot like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It gives you the same sort of anxious feeling. I just want to hit this out of the gate. The game literally just ended minutes ago. I'm scrolling up and down Twitter. I'm seeing a lot of takes about Jordan Binnington and people saying how you can't go back to Binnington for the final on Thursday. Just a lot of the goals at the end were not good. And even though at moments, we talked about this in our last two episodes, even though at moments in this tournament he's looked solid, a lot of the goals he's allowed have been questionable. Where are you at? Do you think that is a knee-jerk reaction to a team kind of going to sleep
100%.
with a 4-0 lead?
100%. Do I said it last episode, we said it going into the tournament. Do I feel great about Jordan Binnington as the goaltender for this team? Not really, but to hang those last-minute goals on him, that's ridiculous. That was Toronto Maple Leaf hockey. That was, we're going to shut down and not play any sort of system, not play aggressively. We're just going to watch this other team just pass the puck around the ozone with speed, and we're going to do nothing about it. Hanging any of that on Jordan Binnington is an absolute joke, in my opinion.
I'm seeing lots of people right now on Twitter who are saying, don't go back to him. My thing is, it's like Aiden Hill's been sitting cold now, and it'll have been for well over a week. So you're just going to throw him in there on Thursday against an American team that has a ton of firepower. It's like you've come this far with Binnington. You're committed to the guy. I don't, as much as when the tournament started, you and I were like, start Aiden Hill. I think that ship has sailed now.
Yeah, Jon Cooper, every press conference is just hammering home the Jordan Binnington decision. I'm just going to be flat out honest here. I'm not impressed with this hockey team at all. I know they were up 4-0 at one point in this game, but I think that the way that players are being developed in this country, I honestly think that watching this experience, they need to take a second look at what they're doing, because I always just compare it to the other best on best teams from the past. And you just go down the roster of 02, of 10, of 2014, and it's just absolutely stacked. And I'm not really impressed. I'm watching them. They don't have a lot of depth. They are the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's Connor McDavid skating with all his speed through the neutral zone to create an opportunity, or it's Nathan MacKinnon trying to use his speed to skate through the neutral zone to create an opportunity. That's their game plan. What is anybody else doing out there?
Yeah.
There's nothing. Sidney Crosby looks like he can't skate. Mark Stone can't skate. Marner got demoted. That Cirelli-Hagel line, not dangerous offensively at all. It looks like Marchand can't skate either. Their defense, even though I like some of them, I would love for some of them to be in a Toronto Maple Leaf uniform. Not a lot of speed either. They were up 4-0 in that game, but I'm watching it and I'm going, I don't know. I'm not overwhelmed with joy with how this team is playing. I don't think they're that great. And I think they're going to have a very difficult time beating that hockey team that they lost to on Saturday. I really think they're going to have a tough time.
Well, it's an interesting game because they were up 4-0. They led 4-0 for the bulk of it. And like the shots on goal are 28-27. Like Finland, by no means did they dominate Finland. Finland had their opportunities. They just couldn't capitalize the way Canada could capitalize. And you scroll down the list of names: McDavid, MacKinnon, Point, MacKinnon, Crosby. Those are the goals. Those are like the big boys are scoring the goals. And
Toronto Maple Leaf hockey.
Yeah, like I'm It was interesting today to see some of the changes Jon Cooper made. There's three things that stood out to me about that game. Okay. First of all, the decision to put Braden Point with Connor McDavid, fantastic decision. He compliments McDavid way better than a Mitch Marner does. And I think that could be something. If they win on Thursday, if they beat the Americans and win this tournament, I guarantee you we'll be coming out of that game going the McDavid, Point, Stone line, or if they keep Stone, whoever, the McDavid and Point line was a massive, massive factor in that win.
Yeah, I don't see any depth. When I watch the US play, I see depth. I see a top-heavy Canadian hockey team. That's what I see. They're top heavy. I don't see any depth. I maybe like they've played 3 games now. They can reevaluate. They have some time before playing the US again, but I think they have to play way better than what they played today, even though they were up 4-0. I get that. But I wasn't overall impressed with their performance today. And I think through 3 games, there's still a lot to be desired from this team.
What do you think of the Point McDavid combo?
Well, I thought that was a smart move from the get-go because Point is just a smart player and has the speed to keep up with McDavid. And he's not someone like Mitch Marner who just wants to be on the periphery 24/7.
Yes.
So, yeah, it was good. You just have to find someone who can skate with McDavid and just work off him. And I think Point's a smart enough guy to do that.
Second observation from today, Cale Makar makes all the difference in the world. You could really tell how much they missed him on Saturday night. We talked about the difference in mobility between the American Defense Corps and the Canadian Defense Corps. Cale Makar will shift that. It won't be as lopsided on Thursday. He just that guy's ability to pass the puck is elite. And right away, and he still, by all accounts, is not feeling 100%. So for him to go out there and play the way he played, not feeling well, very, very impressed. And the third observation, Mitch Marner gets dropped down to the third line with Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli, which is now Jon Cooper has now put him in a checking role, which, to be honest with you, listen, they just won the game and they're going to play the Americans on Thursday and we're all going to be jacked up for it. And this tournament has been fantastic and the NHL couldn't have written a better script if they tried. But if you want to hone in on the Mitch Marner element, I think it's really telling that after a few games, he got his big OT goal against Sweden, but I think it's really telling now that Jon Cooper has put him down into a checking role, and maybe that is the best way to utilize him in this best on best play because of what you said earlier. He exists solely on the periphery. Like at least Braden Point will try and get to the middle of the ice and isn't afraid to go to the net and all that kind of stuff. That's not how Mitch Marner likes to play the game. So I actually wonder if maybe putting him in a checking role and heading into the Olympics next year, maybe that is the best way to utilize a Mitch Marner in a best on best tournament.
Yeah, it was also just time to rejig the lines. We said that last episode. I thought it was time to rejig the lines. That line is a black hole of offense, though. They generate nothing. I don't. Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli and whoever's playing on that line, even when Point was on that line, they were generating nothing. I'm not really impressed with that line 5-on-5 at all.
So what do they have to do to win on Thursday? Because you and I didn't talk before we hopped on here, so I wasn't necessarily prepared for you to come on here and be like, I am not impressed.
There's no structure to their game. I know it's 3 games, but you watch the US play and they just have structure all of a sudden. They're just playing exactly the way you need to play to shut down top players. And this team, I just don't see. I see a AAA rep hockey team when I watch them. I see 2 dudes who are the 2 best skaters in the world just try to take the puck from zone to zone. That's it. That's all I see. I don't really see anything else. Obviously, they're explosive enough, they're talented enough that when they get an opportunity to score, they're going to do that. But I don't see a lot of great ozone time of cycling the puck, getting the puck back to the point, getting shots. I don't see them shutting down the other team in their own zone. I don't know. There's just a lot. It just looks like a rep hockey team to me out there. And maybe it's unfair to put the expectation on them to be a cohesive group. But if you want to beat the
I think
US,
you're right.
they're already a cohesive group and they're ready for you.
I think you're right. I think that was the big takeaway from watching the U.S. play hockey. It'll be interesting to see them play Sweden tonight because now this game means nothing and they're resting Kachuk and Ottinger's going to play and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think you'll get that sense necessarily tonight, but I think your point is well made because that was everyone's big takeaway from watching the U.S. play Finland and then play Canada. Like this team looks like they're playing a system and they look like they're all on the same wavelength where with Canada, you're right. It's very leafy. It's very, very similar to watching the Leafs.
Man. The way they play in the defensive zone, I swear I'm watching the Toronto Maple Leafs. I swear.
It also is very leafy. Like they got the win today because they were able to capitalize on their scoring chances. That when they got to the middle of the ice, they were able to bury them. And that's the Leaf formula is you have to capital. When William Nylander gets a breakaway, he's got to score. Because they're not going to get another opportunity in the game where they're cycling the puck and making it difficult on the other team's defense. And you're right. The way this team plays is very, very similar. I definitely think, again, I think you got to look at this in two parts. So if you're looking at this tournament in isolation, it's like, okay, they're going to play the U.S. on Thursday. Let's talk about that part specifically right now. To beat this team on Thursday, you're going to need to maybe tweak the lines again. I don't know how much more tweaking you can do. I like the McDavid point combination. I don't think he's breaking up McKinnon and Crosby. I think, like I said earlier, Mitch Marner appears to have been put in a checking role. Maybe you could sub somebody like a Jarvis back in. I don't know. Take Bennett out again. I don't know. Maybe not against the Americans.
I don't think tweaking the lines. They can tweak the lines all they want. I don't know how. It just seemed like in 2014, they went there to shut everybody down. And also they had probably the best goaltender in the world at the time in their net, which also helped. But it seemed like they went there on a mission to shut everybody down. And they had the depth from one all the way to the bottom to do that. And it just seems like it's a two-player team mixed with Sidney Crosby making the odd amazing play when he has the ability to do so.
This NHL season has been as predictable as a puck rolling on its edge. No one knows where it's going. But that just means there's time for your favorite team to figure things out and games left for you to get in the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL.
It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
Right. Like he's so good in a tight space. He's so good fending off checks. Like he's really good. But I just see Connor McDavid generating offense with speed and then kind of a one and done scenario. But he's so fucking good that he can do that and capitalize on chances and then get you ahead in the game. He's that good. But I don't know. I just want to see. I need to see a better system. I need to see better play in their own zone. They're getting hemmed in. I thought tonight they got hemmed in. Like they were. It was 4-0 because I thought the Finns made a couple bad mistakes in the first period, but
their goalie just let them down.
I thought the Finns hemmed them in for a good amount of time in that game.
Yes, that game was not. If you just looked at the game sheet, you would think, oh, Canada kicked their ass. That they did not. Like I said earlier, the shots were 28-27.
Yeah, I don't know how you can. I don't know if there's anything you could do from now till
Thursday.
Till Thursday. You do have the best players in the world. They do have the ability to win a game based off skill, but I think for next year they need to really evaluate the kind of rep hockey they're playing and start kind of having that mentality they had in 2010 and 2014
yeah, I think next year, Ryan, it's also time to move on from some of these guys. Like as much as you like having what he brings from like an attitude perspective, I don't think Brad Marchand is going to be on the Olympic team. I mentioned this in the last episode.
Slow.
I don't think you need Hagel and Sorelli. Like when you've got a Mark Scheifele sitting there, you've got a Tom Wilson, you've got a Zach Hyman. Like I don't think all these conversations about Binnington, like Logan Thompson, like I just really hope that this management group walks away from this, even if they win this tournament, which is kind of scary if they win this tournament, because then there'll be a certain amount of loyalty there. But even if they win this tournament, I really do hope they walk away and say, we can tweak this. There is definitely, we can look at our bottom two lines and we can look at like a Mark Stone and go, there's other players we can bring to the Olympics next year.
Yeah, and I think that's the easy thing to do when you don't love their game is just start looking at everybody around the league who could possibly replace the guy who's pissing you off while you're watching the game. That's the easy thing to do. I just maybe every other team has just gotten so much better. Maybe the depth in every country has gotten so much better, and eventually it was just going to catch up to them. But there was just always a certain style of Canadian hockey that was played, and there was always a little bit of toughness to it, and it was just like it was just different. It seemed like the depth was so rich. And it just seems like this team, I don't know. It's just maybe the other countries have just gotten way better and they just caught up to them. But I just don't see that Canadian hockey that I know and love that I watched growing up. I just don't see it.
Like, and you're talking about like,
I'm gonna look stupid if they win this tournament. I just sound like I'm complaining and they win. It sounds kind of dumb, but I think for anyone who's really analyzing the game and watching, they kind of know. Maybe I'm overreacting a little bit, but they kind of know what I'm talking about.
That says, relax, they're going to the finals.
I know. They're still a great team, but it's just I expect more.
I think watching Team USA play has changed the perception drastically. And every game they've played, they've been in tough. I do think that we need to give credit to the other countries. Like instead of sitting here and saying it's all on the way they've selected this team and whatever, I think you're right in that. Like, I think some of these other nations have absolutely caught up. Like both Finland and Sweden, very good teams that played very well in this tournament. And whoever finishes last, like that's not an indictment against them. It's weird in a 4-team tournament, but they've been very, very impressive. And like I said, like I just kept sitting there going, this is a weird game because they're up 4-0, but you're right. Finland's hemming them in. They're getting quality chances. That's another reason why I'm not really on board with like the crapping on Binnington. Like they had a lot of good looks today that he had to make saves on.
Crapping on Binnington, just the easy thing to do right now. It's the easy thing to do. We'll see how the US plays tonight. But I mean, for half of that game against Finland, they were okay. And then halfway through the game, they decided that they were just going to take over that game and absolutely dominate. And then when they played Canada, they got down 1-0 early. And then they shut the game down and found a way to win. It's just like, I think they have been so impressive that I'm just measuring the Canadian performance up to their performance. And it's just not at the same standard to me right now.
Yes.
But I mean, it's a one game final. Anything could happen. It's basically game 7. I mean, Canada can go out and absolutely shut my mouth and everybody's mouth. I just expect a little bit more.
You gotta be, honestly, though, on the positive side of it, you got to be pretty excited that it's going to be the date of that game is going to be. You and I always talk about the dog days, and February is always the month that gets mentioned when you're in like the dog days of the hockey season. And February 20th, you're going to have Team Canada versus Team USA playing to win a trophy. It's pretty well done. Like this is, like I said, the NHL couldn't have written a better script if they tried.
Yeah, and I'm selfishly happy because if they didn't make this final, the conversation would just be
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would have to not
you
listen to Canadian media.
You combine that with what happened at the World Juniors, it would just be summits, and it would be back to the drawing board, and what are we doing? And Hockey Canada needs to take a look in the mirror, and like, oh my god.
My old schoolness is coming out a lot watching this tournament. Like, whatever happened to the Chris Prongers of the world?
Yes,
I know.
I know.
What happened to guys like that? I don't know. I just maybe it's just an adjustment to a new era because it's been so long seeing best on best. But or maybe I was just younger and the guys who were in the generation before me, I just looked at them differently. But it just seemed like they were all just men and they just played the right way and they were tough. And I just watched this team and it just looks like the York Simcoe Express. Like, I don't know.
Does this make you look at the Leafs a bit differently? Is this changing your perspective? Because you're watching best on best and you're saying this reminds me of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like there's
what we ask for from the Leafs. Is that now unreasonable when you watch Team Canada and you're like, they kind of play the same way. They have the exact same style.
That's a great question, man. I don't even know the answer to that. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's offensively, it's like chances off the rush. There isn't really, like, if you look at their forward group, who's going in and making life difficult on the forecheck? Nobody. So it's all like speed. You basically have the two fastest centermen in the world that you're hoping are going to generate chances off the rush, and then all the wingers just follow them. And then you have the third line, which is now a checking line, which they're going to have out there against Austin Matthews. Like, Anthony Cirelli is going to get the Matthews duty on Thursday. We're following him around all night. And then you've got the fourth line, which has Bennett and Marchand on it, which now, their job is to just be tough to play against.
I guess what it really, as you're speaking, I've looked at it a different way. I think it's just, this is what happens when you almost look at it as like a lack of depth. Like, the Leafs have to count on their top players to score every single night. And when I watch this tournament, if McDavid or McKinnon aren't generating offense, there's no offense being generated. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at the defensive side, they have some great defensemen. Like, I love Devon Taves. Like, this guy is a great defenseman. I would put him in a Leaf uniform in 2 seconds. Cale Makar, Slick Rick. I love all their defensemen, but their defensive play in their own zone is just, it's not great. It's a lot of standing. It's a lot of watching. They can't get the puck out effectively.
Well, but the thing with if you're going to say depth, Ryan, it's like, that's a self-inflicted decision. You just you pull up Mark Scheifele, guy's got 31 goals. Why the hell is he not on this team? Somebody needs to look at Jon Cooper ahead of the Olympics next year and go, we're not bringing both Cirelli and Hagel. Sorry.
Can we expand our horizons a bit and look past your team?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yes. So I did not think this episode was going to go this way. I did not think that it was going to be us kind of sitting here.
Well, it's a complete overreaction.
What we saw. Yes.
This is a complete overreaction for me. It's just, you just caught me at the right time and the right mood. But I also think what I'm saying has some validity. I think I am correct. I think I'm going a little too far with it, but I just want to see better. I just want to see better, and I don't think they've hit the mark yet, even though they're going to the final and they could still win this tournament. But there's the bigger picture next year or two.
But look at the games they've won. Okay, so the first game, Sidney Crosby is an absolute goat. Like yes, Marner gets the goal in overtime, but he's an absolute goat. And then today, McDavid scores, McKinnon scores, and your big boys show up. And the difference when they played the U.S. on Saturday, like, McKinnon didn't have a great game, Crosby didn't have a great game. Like, the recipe for this iteration of Team Canada is Nate McKinnon has to be fantastic, because Connor McDavid is going to have his offensive chances, right? Like, you're never going to watch a game and be like, wow, I didn't really notice McDavid tonight. He's just too good.
Yeah.
But like, McKinnon and Crosby can't have a game on Thursday like they had on Saturday, or they've got no shot. They've got no shot.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get, it's going to be difficult for that third line to score. And in defense, it's because they're going to get put in checking situations. And it's going to be difficult for the fourth line to score because like Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand in this sort of best on best speed, they're not going to, it's difficult for them to generate offense. And whether it's Konechny, whether it's Jarvis on that other line, it's going to be kind of the same thing. So the only way this team has a shot to beat this American team is the big boys have to show up and they have to play well and they have to score on Hellebuck.
Yep. I couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, buddy, we're going to get out of here. We will be back on Thursday night following the championship game of the Four Nations face-off.
Do you think
Canada
we
and the
lost
US.
a subscriber or two because of me today?
Oh, 100% we did. There's somebody who's going to be in the comments just ripping you.
I know
like,
there's gonna be a veteran though who's right with me.
Oh, yes. I don't listen. Yes. Do we come? This is why you and I don't always love doing post-game shows, is because you don't have time to really collect yourself. You come on here and you're super emotional. It really works when the Leafs get eliminated in the playoffs, because then I come on here and just yell and it's really entertaining. But like at the end of the day, I don't think what you're saying is ridiculous. I think you're kind of bang on. I think this team, if they want to go and win a gold medal next year, it needs to be more complete through four lines and in the D zone. And we've seen 3 games now. It's not. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they're not a good team. Doesn't mean we haven't loved watching them. Doesn't mean we're not absolutely jacked for Thursday night against the Americans. We are all check mark in all 3 of those boxes. But I think, this group got criticized for some of the roster decisions they made leading into this tournament. And I think you watch these games and you're like, yeah, like there are better players sitting on the beach in Cancun right now who could be on this team in this uniform. That would add some depth to lines 3 and 4.
Yeah. There is one thing that I have 100% learned, and the debate is settled. If anybody says that Connor McDavid is not the best hockey player in the world, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Like, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. This guy is, he's the best hockey player I've ever seen in my life, I think.
Yes.
Most talented.
Yes.
The guy is unbelievable.
His ability to accelerate with the puck is
just...
Yeah, it's unmatched.
It's ridiculous. And the agility... Like, you watch McKinnon skate. I think they're both... Like, McKinnon's like power. I think they both equally skate as fast, but McDavid's ability to like go left and right, and the agility and the stops and starts, it's fucking outrageous. The guy is unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. All right, buddy, we're going to get out of here. Like I said, we'll be back Thursday night. We'll be back late Thursday night to talk Canada, US, Four Nations final, the Four Nations trophy up for grabs. Oh, one thing I wanted to hit on that I've also loved about this tournament that I would really love the NHL to take away. I know Finland has a white uni, but can we do away? Like, we don't need, when the Leafs play the Habs, no one needs to be wearing a white uni. When the Leafs play the Red Wings, no one needs to be wearing a white uni. The contrast of Canada red against the yellow of Sweden, or the Canada red against the blue of the US, it's amazing. Like, we don't need have the white jersey for when the Leafs play Tampa, or when they play, I don't know, who's another blue team, Buffalo, Columbus. Okay, fine. Keep the white jersey for that. But Saturday night at the Bell Center, put the blue unis on and go Leaf blue against the Habs red. Why can't we do that?
It's a good point.
Why is that against the law?
I agree.
Why can't we do that? Hit the like and subscribe button. If you're listening to the audio version, please do the same.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
We really appreciate it. We will see you guys late Thursday night.